We're starting this morning with a chance to hear directly from leaders within the Trump administration on their priorities and how those might impact us as counties on the ground. First, I'll be joined on stage by Alex Meyer, who is the Deputy Assistant to the President and Director of the White House Office of Intergovernmental Affairs. Alex has over a decade of experience in the campaign world, most recently as Deputy Political Director for the Trump-Vance 2024 campaign. NACo has a strong relationship with the White House Office of Intergovernmental Affairs, rooted in our desire to serve as reliable, trusted partners with a deep commitment to representing county interests here in Washington. We are so grateful that the White House could participate in this session today. There's a lot going on today, if you haven't noticed that. And we're excited to continue our dialogue about the importance of intergovernmental communication. So please join me now in welcoming Alex Meyer.
Sir, how are you? Thanks, appreciate it.
Alex, welcome back to the NACo stage.
Thank you, it's a pleasure being here.
Yeah, one year ago we did this, and you were brand new on the gig. And
I was just trying to figure out what intergovernmental affairs actually meant a year ago when we were first here.
And now you've got a year in this role, and I guess y'all have had a few things going on over the past 12 months.
The fact that it's only been a year is crazy. It feels like it's been a full 4-year term we've been able to get done in the first 6 months, then we had the next 6 months, and here we are. We're already off and running.
We can understand that. And before we just jump in and talk about some of the ways that we as counties can work with you in the White House, maybe remind the audience who you are.
Sure.
And also, what has this past year looked like from your unique seat in the White House?
No, thank you. Well, my name is Alex Meyer. I'm the White House Director for Intergovernmental Affairs. It's a pleasure to see everyone in here. I'm born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. I don't know if there's any Missourians in here.
Oh,
there we go. Hello. And so, born and raised in St. Louis, cut my teeth growing up in Missouri politics, and I've kind of always spent my career doing campaigns, right? And so I've always seen the life of the different side of things. So I've worked closely with county executives, lived in county. I've lived in, I think, 16 places in the last 10 years.
Wow.
And so I've spent a lot of my career traveling and doing different things all across the country, from Pennsylvania to Florida to Arizona and kind of everywhere in between. And so I kind of bring a little bit of a different perspective to things in terms of how our office operates, because I think that everyone in this room is an elected official, and so I understand the things that everyone here has to go through and has to answer to their constituents, because you are all the ones who at the grocery store is the first line of defense. You have to answer for things that you are doing. As you're on the Hill, you should remind your members of Congress that you're the ones taking it, and so ask for all the money and make sure that they're giving it to you. But no, I think that one of the things that our office has done and we've kind of taken is just really outreach. Our office historically, and we mentioned it last time, has only really operated around 7 or 8. Right now, our office is just south of 15. I think we're at 14 staff right now. And the reason the president and Susie and James have seen fit to give us a little bit more staff in our office is because of the importance of what our office does. And I think that working with you and working with NACo and a lot of folks here in this room is why it's so important, because there are so many times that you get questions and you just don't know where to go with it, right? And there's you can answer all of your county questions. There's a lot of state issues who you know where to go to there. But when it's a federal issue, it kind of log jams you a little bit, and a lot of folks are not sure where to go with it. And that's one of the reasons and one of the things that our office does is to help bridge that gap of, hey, I do have somebody that I can call in the White House, which is, it's a good feather in the cap, obviously, for everyone in this room to have. And if you don't know who our regional is from our office, or Jared, my deputy, please reach out, and we'll make sure that you have their contact information, because you all should be talking directly to the White House on all of your issues that you guys have, because you are the county executives or the judges or the county leaders for your county, and your citizens citizens elected you to do that, and it's important to the president, because if there's one thing that working with the president for the past few years I've gotten to know is that he loves the states. He loves, the people of the United States, and he does not like Washington because of Washington politics. That's why every chance he gets, he wants to get out to the states, because he truly loves being with people and he cares about people, and you see it every day in the work that he does. I mean, I don't know how we sleep. I mean, he doesn't sleep. He gets probably 3 hours a night. He's going all hours of the night, and he wakes up early, and he's always working, and he's working for the American people. And that's one of the things that is so inspiring for us is even when I'm tired and we're going through different things, I kind of look to the president, and from my office, I can see there's the Marine that stands outside the West Wing door, and it's kind of when can I leave? Is the Marine still there? And it's dark. It's 9 o'clock at night, and the Marine's still there. And so he's always working, and it encourages our office to continue to keep working to build those relationships and partnerships, because for us to be successful means the country has to be successful, and that means that even at the most local level, mayors, county executives, you have to be successful, and that's what the president's doing on a daily basis.
Yep. Thank you. So in this room, we've got over 300 first-time attendees here. So we also probably have some of this their first time getting an introduction to the Office of Intergovernmental Affairs. Can you help first-time attendees maybe better understand how IGA is structured,
Sure.
who all you work with, and who's on your team?
No, it's a great question. As I started, what is intergovernmental affairs, right? And so when the president had called to ask to take this position, and I worked with, my first question, what is intergovernmental affairs? And just out of a curiosity, I always like to ask this question, just out of a show of hands, who here knows what intergovernmental affairs actually is? Yeah, that's about right. So White House Office of Intergovernmental Affairs, we're the main liaison or front door to the White House and to the federal government, right? In its simplest form. We work intergovernmental, and so with elected officials in the states. And so if you are an elected official in the states, intergovernmental affairs is your entry point in your office, right? And so we work with over 500,000 elected officials across the country, and that's from governors, attorneys general, lieutenant governors, county executives, mayors, dog catchers. And so we are the entry point for working with your office, right? And so what does that mean, right? What do you come to us? What do we work with us on, right? I mean, I think that we've worked on a lot of things. 287G is a big one that we're working on right now, but also bridges, right? Roads. I know data centers are a big issue and things that are going on there, and just kind of different regulations that you're working through with those. And so any type of federal issue that you're working on. So our office, in the way that it's structured, I have 2 deputies. Jared Borg, who I think a lot of folks know, he's who I call kind of our outside-facing deputy, and he works with associations and agencies. As we've come to discover, there's a million of them, none as good as NACo, and so working
Y'all
with...
clap for that if you want.
Yeah, that's right. NACo is one of our great partners we love working with, and so Jared works on the externally facing, and then I've got Connor Reardon. He's one of my deputies. He kind of does internal facing. So what does that mean? So we have a regional structure, and I'll get to that in a second. But one of the things that I think is most important for everyone in this room, there is an IGA or Intergovernmental Affairs lead in every part of the President's administration, in every agency, right? So EPA, Energy, DHS, Department of War, HHS, anything that you guys can think of, Department of Transportation, we have an IGA lead there, and so we work with them, and they report into the White House structure. I know that Secretary Zeldin's coming, and so he's going to have a lot of great things to talk with everyone here about, but we have an IGA lead in all the different agencies. As we built the office, I think of it a little bit more of a political structure and kind of how do campaigns work, right? Because it's effective in how we communicate with folks, right? And so we have it as a regional structure. So I've got a Northeast, Midwest, Southeast, and West, kind of broken up into those states a little bit. And our regionals work daily with the elected officials in your counties. And so this is going to be a little bit of a litmus test. And hopefully, if they fail, I'll go back and yell at them. But who here has ever worked or talked to any of our regionals in our office? Couple of hands. For those who can't see, I think it might be broadcast. Looks like the whole room. No. But if not, please reach out to us, and I'll make sure that you guys all have our contact information, because every hand should raise in this room, because we want our regionals every day to be working with you all in this room. And it's never an issue that's too small. There's never an issue that's too unimportant. And a lot of times we'll work with you on and say, hey, maybe this isn't us, maybe it's congressional, and we'll help get you connected with them, right? Or maybe it's not us, it's a state issue, and we'll help kind of bridge the gap back to the state, right? And I know that everyone in this room has faced a little bit of adversity, I think, where it's, hey, well, we're having an issue with the governor on this, or we're having an issue with the General Assembly on these things. That's one of the things that our office has kind of really tried to bridge the gap on, is getting involved in what's going on in state issues. Because if we just look at things from a federal scale, it makes it really hard for us to help on a daily basis. Because I think that a lot of folks here have fallen into problems where there's been a lingering issue that has sat at an agency for a long time and has not turned it around, right? It's been stuck in the cogs of the government, is the kind of the phrase that I like to use, and there's no way to get it unjammed because you've tried every resource, you've tried everything. That's what our office does, is we go to the agency and we say, why is this stuck? And 9 times out of 10, it's because it was sitting on what we call a careers desk, and and things haven't been turned around, and so our job is to unlodge that. So if you have things that have been stuck that are important to your counties, please let us know, because we want to work to get you an answer. Because as you know, yes is the best answer, and hey, we're going to release this, and this is going to move forward, or this permit's going to go forward in the right direction, or this funds are going to start moving. But even if it's not that, a no is still a good answer, because you at least know.
Right.
And you can able to build your budgets around it, because the president, so we had all of our nation's governors up here last week, and so the president made a lot of comments about how impressed he is, and he kind of used the reference of, I wish, being a senator is a great job because all you have to do is complain and you don't have to get anything done, right? And being a governor is a hard job. And I think being a county executive is an incredibly hard job, because you have to have a budget. You have to manage people. You have to make real decisions that affect people within your communities every single day, and you have to answer for those decisions. As I mentioned earlier, at the grocery store, you are the person who has to answer that. And so, we have the regional structure on that side, and we've kind of created a newer thing since we last spoken, which is a little bit more of our policy section. So our policy team works every day to kind of take the millions of different policies that are coming out of the administration and different policy changes and the president's executive orders, which we haven't had very many of those. And so we're working on, kind of getting some more out. I know everyone's excited about that. And so we are kind of bridging that gap of what does that mean, right? And we get papers out to everyone in terms of what does this mean for counties? How can you work with this, and kind of answering those questions, and kind of taking also state policies and marrying them up with the federal policies. Because one of the things that we would like to see, and it's kind of this gap that we're working through, is we can pass a lot of things at the federal level, but they have to be implemented at the state level for them to truly be effective. And so working with everyone in this room to help get the things that we can do to kind of bring the country into this golden age. We've seen a lot of successes, and wanting to make sure that we help get you the tools to be successful. So that's kind of how our office operates a little bit. Hopefully that kind of bridges the gap of what intergovernmental affairs is for the 300 new executives that are here. And I wish you the best of luck, because as somebody who is not an elected official and somebody who does not have to manage a budget every day, I very much tip my hat to everyone here, because it is not an easy job. And I have a lot of good friends who, obviously JD, you're one of them, who we talk all the time on what you have to do on a daily basis. And I know that it's not easy. And so our job is to help take some of that burden off and be helpful in any ways that we can.
Well, we appreciate that. And I know tonight's the State of the Union, so I'm not going to ask you to step on the president's speech and share anything you shouldn't. But looking ahead at 2026, what are some of the administration's priorities, and where do you see some of the strongest opportunities to work with county governments to get work done?
Yeah, it's a great question. The easy first answer is please tune in at 9 p.m. tonight. President's going to have a very exciting State of the Union tonight. I don't think it's a secret for anyone, but if they can make the flight, I'm hopeful the Team USA, I saw some, which, I mean, what an unbelievable game for both the men and women. That was unbelievable. I mean, just incredible to see, and kind of, patriotism at its finest, and having an image of, I think that when the women won and kind of that goal, I was like, that was incredible. And then the men and kind of that fight and beating Canada and kind of working that way is just truly incredible. And so I think that you're going to see a lot of things from the president tonight of putting America first, right, and leading America into the golden age, and things that we can do to help everyday Americans to be successful and safe and secure. I mean, the president, kind of what he's done already, I think is a lot of great things, but affordability is going to be one of the big issues the president, I think, is going to talk about tonight. And so it's one of the things that we are working on every single day with the Domestic Policy Council. And for those who don't know what the Domestic Policy Council is, it's at the White House. It's what we call our promises made, promises kept office. And so on day one, when they came in, they legitimately had a list of all of the campaign promises that the president made, and they were going through and checking it off every single day. And so they're what we call the brains of the operation over there, and kind of every day working with the president on kind of getting his agenda together. And so our office, a little bit, we kind of view as pipe fitters, and we connect pipes. We make sure that you get to the right folks to get the right answers, and a lot of times it's going to lead back to the Domestic Policy Council. But we're going to continue. The president's going to do a lot of things for affordability. I think housing is going to be a big issue. I know it's a lot of big issues for folks in this room. You're going to see some big things there. I think you're going to see, what can we do to help with gas prices? We've seen great successes in getting gas prices down, getting the cost of groceries down at the grocery store, and doing things that just make it easier to live. Because what we saw in the 4 years before, I think it was a little bit of a skyrocket up, and what can we do to kind of bring that shock down and bring kind of things back into equilibrium a little bit, and continue to fight to get the prices of things back down. So that is one of the things you're going to see from the president tonight, I think. And I don't want to steal his thunder. I know that, and drink coffee Celsius, as he said. I think it's going to be one of our longest ones, and I think that he's going to have a lot of fun with it. I think he loves being there, and this is going to be a time to talk about American greatness, but talk about what's ahead, because I think that what we are facing kind of in the years ahead is still a lot of successes to be done, and the job's not done. And as I said, the president is working every single day. On Saturday, I was in the Oval with the president, and he was worked all day on Saturday. I mean, it doesn't stop. And so he is every day waking up thinking, what can he do and what can we do as an administration and to make the lives of Americans better, safer, stronger, and kind of take what we saw after the United States won the gold medal, both men and women, and kind of make everyone have that feeling every single day of, I am proud to be an American and I love this country. And I think that's one of the things that the president every day is trying to reinstill in everyone. And I think that everyone here has your county loyalties and your state loyalties, but I think that, loving America is one of the things that we, I think, forgot a little bit as a country, and there's been this divisiveness, and what can we do to have the same goals of just being successful. So we're looking forward to that tonight, and I'm going to have more Celsiuses throughout the day, and we're gonna tune in tonight, and it's gonna be a great experience.
Well, I'll text you real early in the morning and check on you tomorrow.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I'll be up early anyways. So.
And I'm glad you mentioned affordability, and I know you know this already, but we've got a lot of NACo priorities and recommendations on housing affordability, permitting reform that we're working on, and so we stand ready to be partners and help present some of that county story of where we really see some opportunities to improve that, because we're all dealing with it across the nation. So thank you.
No, of course, and that's one of the things too that I know that we text about all the time, and we're always working on is what can we do to cut the red tape, right? I mean, because as I think that we had some folks from National Energy Dominance Council here yesterday, but that office is truly remarkable. It's something that's never existed before. So those who don't know what the National Energy Dominance Council is, it is a new office at the White House where it's EPA, Energy, and Interior. And their job is to unleash America's energy, right? So if there is a oil facility or there is energy, it's hydrogen plant, it's just anything, if there's anything that we can do to unlock, American energy, they have gotten coal plants back online, in weeks that used to take years. I mean, every time we get it, truly these guys that work in the guys and girls that work in this office, we'll give them projects. We have some that have come from counties that are here today, and they say, hey, we've got a coal facility that's looking at closing, and it's jobs for folks here, and how do we get that done? And I know Zeldin will be up here next, and I think that he's going to have a lot to talk about there. But it's impressive how quickly they can get things done. And it's because the president has set a directorate to us we have to get moving quickly, because these jobs that are in your counties are important. The energy for keeping energy prices down is important, and getting gas prices down, and the things that we're doing every day is so important. And obviously affordability for housing that you kind of talked about, the president put an executive order out. I think that it's going to take a lot of steps in making things more affordable for people. And what can we do? HUD had a roundtable just the other day talking about opportunity zones. And I know that a lot of counties here, or some counties here, have been a part of that opportunity zone program. And yeah, exactly. And it's an unbelievable thing where I know that we're about to submit for the new, for next year's opportunity zones, and how important that is. But as you know, builders and working with the right builders who can do things in the right way to get these opportunity zones going is I think just revolutionary for counties, and building and getting new jobs and getting folks back on the right track, and getting these counties that maybe were staggered and haven't been able to figure it out, and this opportunity zone gave them this new opportunity to be successful again. And so that's one of the things that we're really excited about.
Well, thank you. And I know there's a ton of work happening on a lot of different fronts, and just know we're ready to be the county voice in the room as these decisions are being made, and we know that's going to help things be implemented best at the local level if we have that local voice in there. So thank you for coming back and being willing to engage with us again here, and throughout the past year with your team, and we're just so thrilled to have you in the partnership with IGA. So please thank Alex Meyer for being here again.
Thank you.
Alex, we appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Alex.
you, sir.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Go off.